this one's kind of fun. This is another family. So the last family was Familia Fortunique, and this one is Familia Guerra is their name. And they were just great. And she was this girl from the selva, which is the jungle area. And so she just had the most fun accent to listen to, because they speak differently there. And her way of talking and her personality was so fun. And both of them were just from this area, and they were so fun to be around. They struggled financially very, 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 very much. They struggled a lot. And I remember there was times that we would knock at the door of the home, and all the lights and the water was shut off. And so we were teaching with candlelights. We were teaching lessons with candlelights. And we were just thinking, there's got to be ways that we can help this family and do more. But not only just like helping them financially, but helping them help themselves. Helping them to have a skill or a way where they can not only just receive help temporarily, but gain a skill where they can continue helping themselves. So we did something called a pollada, which is like a big, you sell chicken basically. So let me tell you the process. So what you do is the end process is that you make these little plates of food, and you just sell it, and it's just a big huge thing. It's like putting up a lemonade stand but on steroids, because it's like chicken and potatoes and rice or salad and a drink or whatever, and it's a big thing, and people do it all the time for fundraising down there, and you can make a lot of good money if you cook well and if you sell well. So anyways, so we were just like, all right, we're going to throw on a pollada. Like, we're going to do this. And she's like, what? We're going to throw a pollada? Where are we going to get the chickens? I've never done this before. We can't do this. Like, yes, hermana. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We can do this. And so we got we just got a lot of some other missionaries together that were close in that zone, because we're really close to each other. A lot of missionaries are super close because it's a tiny mission. So sometimes you see other missionaries just walking down borders of your sector. You see missionaries all the time. So anyways, so we kind of got together with other missionaries, and we had to go out and buy these chickens. And like chickens that are just like hooked. And they're just taking them off, and they're just chopping off their head. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a chicken like this. And you're pulling out the extra feathers, and you're cutting it open and cleaning it. And I was like, wow, this is a great experience for me to have. It's like kind of gross, but it's just a good experience to have. And so we got all these chickens, we got it all put together, and then we were just calling up people in the ward, and we handed part of the ward list to her, and we said, okay, call these people, and we're going to help you call too, and ask them if they want a pollada on Saturday at 2 p.m. and we'll deliver it to their home. And it was neat because the bishop got involved, and he got the young men involved, and the young men showed up at the door, about 4 or 5 of them with bikes, and they were out there to deliver the polladas, and it was just great. And then the Elders Quorum president was there, and the Relief Society president was there, and it was just wonderful to throw on a pollada, and we were all there together cooking and trying to get it done, just like, a little systematic system of putting all the sauces in, and putting in like just cleaning out all the chickens and frying them, and getting the rice done, and getting everything done, and putting them in the packaging, and making sure it's still hot by the time it gets to the house. And it was just super, super fun. And then making sure that we get the money back. And I remember specifically after all this was done, we sat down on the table. We were just exhausted from the day. It was just an all-day event, Saturday service project that we had done with a ton of help from the ward, which was just, we were so grateful for. And most of the ward members had bought the food, and a lot of her neighbors, and it was just great. And we had sat down, and we were talking about tithing. And her husband was having a really hard time with tithing, and she was having a little bit of a hard time with it. And as we pulled out the money, and we started counting the money, she just bursted into tears. We had sold a lot of polladas, and there was a lot that she was able to have raised out of this pollada. And she burst into tears because there was not only enough to pay for the bills of the water bill, but not only for that month, but for the next month, and for the light bill, and for the baby food, because she was pregnant and she had 4 kids. And I remember specifically, before we even split up all the money, we said, okay, this is how much you have. And she was just crying. She's like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this happened to me. And we said, this is what God did for you. He did this for you. And look at the blessing. Look at how many people love you. I mean, look at how many people were involved today to help you to be able to receive this blessing. And Heavenly Father is the one who put all those people into your life, just specifically at this moment. And she wasn't even a member at this point. She was just somebody who was just learning about the church. And there was just so much love. And we said, then we just split up the 10% for tithing. And we said, this is to give back to Heavenly Father and to say thank you to Him. And she just looked at us in tears and she's like, you guys are right. This is right. No wonder why Jesus talked about this in the Bible. God's the one who gives us everything that we have. And so why can't we give back a little bit in gratitude? And it was such a beautiful moment for her eyes to light up and for her just to gain her own testimony that's why that's a principle that's been around for a really long time. It's not something new. It's not something that the church is just starting. It's something that has been here since the time that Jesus was here teaching. And it was neat to see how even after we had set aside the tithing, there was still enough to pay for all the bills, not only for that month, but for the next month. And there was excess money for her to buy a little bit of extra food, which they were eating bread and bananas for dinner. And it was just such a touching experience for us. And I just think, how grateful that I was that just to kind of sit and watch. It's just that feeling when you know that you're not really doing anything. You're just kind of being you're just watching God just work miracles in front of you and just work these miracles. And it was amazing to see how so many people came together and was able to provide that for her. And not only was she able to receive monetary funds, but it was through her own work, and it was a skill that she gained. And now she knew how to throw on another pollada, no matter if we were in the area or not, to help throw it on. She knew how to do it now. And it wasn't just like, okay, here it is. It was more like, okay, let's do this together. And she was able to gain that skill. And she was able to gain a testimony about when God blesses you, how we can give back. And it was just wonderful. It was a really neat experience. And that family did end up, about a month later, they got baptized. And it was just just beautiful. And to watch them enter into the temple, and it was just beautiful. It was just, I can't express the joy. There's just so much joy that comes from it. And it's just amazing. It's so amazing to watch it happen, because you're really not doing anything. You just watch it. You're just literally on the front seat of watching God's miracle happen in other people's lives. And it's just beautiful.